In a league brimming with elite defenders, only two players stand out for their exceptional ability to shut down opponents in isolation plays, limiting them to fewer than 0.60 points per possession while holding them to under 40% shooting from the field. And those two players? Amen Thompson, a rising star whose defensive prowess on the wing is gaining widespread attention, and Jaren Jackson Jr., the former Defensive Player of the Year. Both have proven their worth this season, showing defensive skills that could easily earn them the coveted Defensive Player of the Year title. But there's one area where Jaren Jackson Jr. truly separates himself: his dominance in the paint. With over 60 blocks already this season, he's become a menacing force on the interior. Jaren Jackson Jr. is delivering a defensive masterclass this year. Whether he's erasing shots on defense or asserting his will on offense, the Memphis Grizzlies' star big man has firmly entrenched himself as one of the NBA's premier talents. But just how impactful has he been? Let's take a deeper dive into the numbers and uncover the full extent of Jackson's game-changing influence. Let's kick things off by diving into Jaren's offensive game this season. And what stands out most is his evolution as a driver. Last year, he averaged around 7.5 drives per game, already leading all big men in the NBA, a solid foundation for his offensive arsenal. But this season, it's not just about maintaining that volume, it's about taking it to the next level. After more than 40 games, Jaren has seen his drive success rate soar, turning what was once a promising part of his game into a bona fide weapon. This season, Jaren is finishing strong, boasting an impressive 52.2% on his drives, placing him firmly among the top 15 in the league for field goal percentage on drive attempts. It's a remarkable leap from last year's 49.8%, when he wasn't even close to cracking the top 15. His improvement in this aspect of his game has been really impressive, underscoring his development as one of the most efficient big men in the league and one of the most dynamic players on the move. Beyond his ability to power his way to the rim and score with authority, Jaren Jackson Jr.'s influence stretches far beyond simply putting points on the board. His evolution as a playmaker has redefined not just his own game, but the entire identity of the Grizzlies' offense. This season, Memphis has surged to the top of the league, not only leading the charge in drives per game, but also dominating the scoring ranks with an eye-popping 123.3 points per game, surpassing even the Cleveland Cavaliers, the team with the league's best record. While this offensive explosion is a collective effort, Jaren's versatility stands out as a crucial factor in their success. He's transformed from a potent scorer to a multi-dimensional threat, and his playmaking off the dribble is now reaching even greater heights. With his assists off of drives already outpacing his total from last season, and we're only halfway through, there's no denying the extent of his growth. Whether he's threading a needle with a pinpoint pass to a cutting teammate, or opening up opportunities for sharpshooters on the perimeter, Jaren's sharpened court vision and improved decision-making have unlocked a new layer to Memphis's offensive potency. Now let's talk shooting. While this season might not showcase his absolute best from beyond the arc, Jaren is still making his presence felt. On catch-and-shoot threes, he's consistently sinking them at a solid 33.5%, virtually identical to last season's 33.9%. But here's where things get really exciting: Jaren's pull-up three-point shooting. Last season, he faced some challenges, connecting on just 22.6% of his pull-up threes. Fast forward to this season, and he has already shown a significant improvement in his pull-up three-point shooting efficiency. He's now hitting them at an impressive 34.4%. That's a huge leap, and for a big man, it's even more remarkable. The ability to knock down pull-up shots with that kind of efficiency is a game changer. If he can sustain this level of efficiency, it could completely revolutionize his game. Imagine this: a towering big man who bulldozes his way to the rim with a perfect blend of raw power and finesse, only to stop on a dime, rise up effortlessly, and knock down a pull-up three, even with a defender smothering him. That's not just impressive, it's things that very few players in the league can do. And as if his elite driving and shooting weren't already enough, Jaren has evolved into an absolute powerhouse in the post. This season, he's racking up an impressive 1.06 points per possession on post-ups, placing him among the league's top 10. That's a clear leap from last year's 1.01 points per possession, a reflection and result of his work ethic during the offseason. This season, defenders have struggled to contain Jaren Jackson Jr.'s dominance in the post, whether he's operating from the high or low block. No matter the matchup, Jaren always finds a way to back down his defender and finish with ease, whether it's a smooth layup or a soft floater. Against smaller opponents, he simply bullies his way to the rim using raw power that seems impossible to stop. But when facing larger defenders, Jaren seamlessly blends strength with agility, carving out just enough room to finish with poise. And the fouls? They're piling up. Jaren ranks among the most fouled players on post-ups, a clear sign of his sheer dominance whenever he gets the ball in the paint. And then there's his defense. It's not just a skill, it's the very essence of who he is. So far this season, Jaren has been outstanding, cementing his place among the league's defensive elite. He's an impenetrable force, not just in the paint, but on the perimeter as well, where opposing players have found it nearly impossible to get past him. Let's dive into the numbers. Jaren is stifling opponents, holding them to a chilling 39.8% from the field. But what truly makes him one of the best defenders in the league is that he's one of only 3 players in the entire league to defend over 300 shot attempts while keeping those shooters under the 40% mark. And that exclusive club, it doesn't even include defensive powerhouses like OG Anunoby, Victor Wembanyama, or even Giannis. This seamlessly brings us to his remarkable isolation defense. Jaren has been an absolute nightmare for opponents in one-on-one situations, surrendering a mere 0.54 points per possession, good for a spot among the league's top 5 isolation defenders. To put that into perspective, that's a massive jump from last season's 0.88 points per possession, highlighting his sharp improvement in lateral quickness and his ability to stay glued to even the quickest guards. It's a true testament to the work he's put in and the evolution of his defensive game. Now, let's dive into Jaren's mastery of pick-and-roll defense. Whether he's dropping back to protect the rim or seamlessly switching onto quicker, smaller guards, he's been an absolute force. He's giving up only 0.84 points per possession on pick-and-rolls, placing him firmly in the top 10 for defensive efficiency. His adaptability on that side of the floor is almost unmatched, making him an essential weapon in any defensive strategy. In the paint, Jaren has been an absolute force. This season, he's already tallied an impressive 69 blocks, showcasing his elite shot blocking prowess. But his impact doesn't stop there. He's also sharpened his defense at the rim, holding opponents to just 54.3% shooting, a significant leap from last year's 56.1%. When it comes to controlling the paint, Jaren stands among the game's rarest and most dominant defenders. As a help defender, Jaren Jackson Jr. has been nothing short of extraordinary, effortlessly erasing mistakes and consistently stepping up to cover for his teammates. His timing and presence in the paint make him a defensive force to be reckoned with. But even the most polished players have room to evolve, and that applies to Jaren as well. Jaren's innate instinct to protect the rim can sometimes push him into overhelping, leaving his man open for a potential three-pointer. It's a high-risk, high-reward strategy, one that has occasionally backfired, allowing opponents to capitalize on wide-open shots from deep. When you take a step back and look at the full picture of Jaren Jackson Jr.'s game, one that now boasts explosive drives, a smooth pull-up jumper, and an imposing presence in the post, it's easy to see why the Grizzlies are hitting on all cylinders this season, sitting comfortably as the 3rd seed in the fiercely competitive Western Conference. Add to that Desmond Bane's lethal sharpshooting and Ja Morant's electrifying playmaking, and you've got a squad that's not just contending but fully capable of going toe-to-toe with anyone in the league. Jaren Jackson Jr. is everything you look for in a generational talent. A force on both ends of the floor, a player who can take over a game in an instant. With less than half the season still to go, the Grizzlies are in prime position to make a serious playoff push. And with Jaren leading the charge, the sky's the limit. This team, with him at the center of it all, could very well surprise the world and claim the ultimate prize. Once Memphis's best-kept secret, he's now the name that haunts opponents, the player every team fears and every fan knows.